Just last week, the newly minted White House Communications Director, Anthony Scaramucci, appeared on CNN. He said this, quote, "You know, somebody said to me yesterday, I won't tell you who, that if the Russians actually hacked this situation and spilled out those emails, you would never have seen it. You would have never had any evidence of them," meaning that they're super confident in their deception skills and hacking. Asked just who that somebody was, and Mr. Scaramucci admitted that it was President Trump, who had explained that if the Russians had, quote, hacked the situation, that the United States would not have evidence of that hacking because of the Russian superior intelligence capabilities. Do either of you know where President Trump got that idea?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Well, I'll tell you. President Trump believes that to be true because Vladimir Putin told him so. The New York Times later confirmed that Putin was the source of that information. The Times reported that President Trump emerged from his meeting with Putin to, quote, tell his aides that the Russian president had offered that Moscow's cyber operators are so good at covert computer network operations that if they had dipped into the DNC systems, they would not have been caught, unquote. Now let that sink in for a moment. The President of the United States is taking the word of Vladimir Putin over that of our nation's intelligence agencies, which demonstrates a stunning lack of confidence in the men and women who put their lives on the line to keep us safe. And the President of the United States then goes on to repeat that Russian lie to the American press and to Mr. Scaramucci, effectively spreading Russia's misinformation for them. Mr. Priestap, you have experience in counterintelligence. When then FBI Director Comey appeared before the House Intelligence Committee in March, he described the Russian operation as, quote, unusually loud. He said, quote, it's almost as if they didn't care that we knew. Their loudness, in a way, would be counting on us to amplify it by telling the American people what we saw and freaking people out about how the Russians might be undermining our elections successfully, unquote. Do you agree with former Director Comey's assessment? Was the Russian operation unusually loud?
Yes.
Mr. Hickey, you manage the National Security Division's efforts to fight cyber attacks. Do you agree with Director Comey's assessment, former Director Comey's assessment?
In my position as a lawyer, sir, I would defer to Director Comey on that question and the FBI.
Let me just, can I have a few seconds? So it seems fair to say that not only did Russia interfere in last year's election, but that Russia likely wasn't trying to fly under the radar. Contrary to what Putin may have told President Trump, it would seem that Russia actually wanted Americans to find out about its efforts, that our knowledge of their operation and the unease it continues to cause us was in fact central to undermining Americans' faith in democracy. Thank you for your indulgence.